Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell. I'd appreciate it majorly. So, I see there's a couple stories out there about Facebook and YouTube, removing content that try to identify or name the whistleblower, And I'm not doing that at all, and I haven't, and everybody, I've heard it a million places. I listen to talk radio all day long, every day, and it's just everywhere. So, but I got to what I'm about to tell you about this from the whistleblower articles, which is some luncheon over at the State Department in October, immediately before the election, the 2016 election. Do I have to say it? That I believe that Hillary Clinton lost the election on purpose, and then her and Trump totally fixed the 2016 election. That's my theory. I think it's a freaking great theory, and I'm here to talk about it some more. So, at that dinner luncheon, okay, and I've given this considerable thought, and I'm not even going through the guest list, because I don't want to get anywhere near, that whistleblower, his name, but it's a State Department guest. It's a State Department luncheon, and it's basically co-hosted by the current Secretary of State at the time, which was John Kerry, and Joe Biden. Okay. And I mean, part of what I think some of the right-wing outlets were basically trying to connect this person to Biden. I'm not even positive that the guy who's being named is actually the whistleblower. Okay, we'll see. I mean, he may be. I don't really care. I'm against Trump, firmly against Trump. Okay, because one of the big reasons is because of this. That should do it, dude. Definitely. And for many other reasons, man. I mean, people have completely lost their minds, If you like Trump, I don't know what to tell you, but, I don't know. It's not like when I was a little kid. I mean, it's so silly. I'm not even going to say it. It's not like when you're a little kid, you're like, I want to grow up, and when I grow up, I want to be somebody who says great things about Trump. It's so silly, dude. Stop already, all right? And he should stop wanting people to do that. It's so weak. It's one of the things I've disliked about him from the very beginning is him demanding people bow down and kiss his butt, and it's not good. So don't do it. All right. So, but on this in this guest list, I just paging through it, and there's many. There's like 515 people on this guest list. But I know there's many different names, and it's a hosting of the lunch for the Prime Minister of Italy, Matteo Renzi is his name. So there's a lot of Italian Americans in the list. A lot of even non-political people. Robert De Niro's on the list, as Martin Scorsese. Bunch of different people, man, and a bunch of people that are connected to the campaign, both campaigns. So it wasn't as though Chris Christie's on the list. Tons of different people, dude. Maria Bartiromo, who's an Italian American. I don't know if her parents are like literally born in Italy. They may be. I'm not sure, but just another example of an Italian American who's there. Big Trump supporter. I mean, even though she calls herself a journalist and all that. Another journalist there that aren't Trump supporters. And there were people from the Hillary campaign. Okay, Hillary's campaign manager was there. No, he wasn't there. He's on the list. He's on the list. All these people were on the list. I'm not sure who went there or not. And I don't really want to identify that anyways. I want to stray as far as possible away from any specifics. But Podesta was on the list. John Podesta was on the list. Actually, and Tony Podesta was on the list too. And actually, I'm going to say Tony Podesta was there. He went. Okay, and I've talked about Tony Podesta, in a different video, how it seems like Trump never brings him up, even though he would be the ideal target because of his relations, having a working relationship with Manafort in Ukraine, and he's the brother of Tony Podesta, of John Podesta, the campaign manager of Hillary Clinton. Okay, and you can see in WikiLeaks they are communicating all over the place. Not necessarily specifically about the campaign, but they're brothers, okay? But as early as December 2015, I'm not looking through, 978 pages of emails, but many emails from Tony Podesta to John Podesta and other Podestas in here. If I have time, I'll talk about Podesta and his emails, which is a joke, okay? That his email account was hacked by spear phishing. To me, theoretical, I'm just being theoretical here. It's impossible to me that that a man at the absolute pinnacle of our society, at the highest levels of our government, these people are not stupid, okay? His brother studied at MIT. I think he dropped out to join McCarthy as I forget his first name. Is it Eugene? McCarthy hearings. Right, Cohen McCarthy. Even that was way before. I'm getting off topic. His brother studied at MIT, okay, before he literally dropped out of college to join the McCarthy presidential campaign. God damn it. What's his name? Roy Cohn, McCarthy. Damn it. Just bear with me. Just so I know his name. Eugene McCarthy, dude, I got it right. Eugene McCarthy, when he ran for president. Tony Podesta left MIT to join his campaign. I guess that was the beginning of his career in politics. So these people aren't dumb. And John Podesta, you can just see. I'll get to the point of the luncheon list. Let me just wrap this point up. John Podesta, you could see throughout every single email, he answers in one word answer, or very, very short answers over and over. He never talks on emails. He's paranoid as can be on his emails because he knows that one day, not necessarily, I'm not saying that in 2014 he knew that this account was going to be hacked, but he knew that anytime you put something in an email, it's in danger of one day being exposed because it can be, even if it's not hacked, it could be subject to law enforcement. All right. So, he knows, and he's always like, call me. When's a good time to talk? Call me. I mean, I can do after just searching through, 10 pages of 978. It's consistently that way and over and over. Talk tomorrow. How about if I call right around 8 o'clock? I mean, basically, he uses email to noon at Tony's tomorrow. That's Tony, I assume it. And that's from Neera Tanden, who's now the head of the Center of American Progress, which is what John Podesta was, I believe, before he joined, I think multiple times, before he became Hillary's campaign manager. But somebody that is that paranoid and is that aware of that, how dangerous email can be and writing things down in email, there's no way in hell that a person like that at his level in our society, at that level in our society, would be dumb enough to fall for a spear phishing campaign, which is one of the most amateurish ways to have for someone to get your password. It's just no way. It's just impossible, dude. Theoretically speaking, of course. Question mark, question mark. This is just, he never talks because he knows. And that kind of person does not get fooled into giving up their password, by spear phishing. It's baloney. Theoretically speaking. All right. So back to this list of Luncheon. And so I noticed that Madeleine Albright was on there. I saw, James Baker, Henry Kissinger, who's 96. So, I mean, basically, to get to the point, every single living former Secretary of State is invited to this luncheon, except for one notable omission, and I'm sure you can guess who that is. Of course, it's Hillary Clinton. Okay. Now, this is October 18th is the date of the luncheon. It's literally just a few weeks, 3 weeks before it's let's see, it's 20. It's like almost 4 weeks before the election, and at first I thought maybe because she was under investigation for her emails, and but she's not. She was not. They basically, if you recall, Comey came out and he concluded on around July, in various places. I remember the infamous press conference that he gave, the first one that he gave, basically saying that, they were not going to pursue like a prosecution. It was basically that she had acted, carelessly, but, that no charges would be filed, basically. He gave this big press conference, and everybody, said he shouldn't have done that, whatever. That was in July, okay? So she was not under investigation during the time that this luncheon is going on. This one I'm talking about, which I don't have up here, that every single former Secretary of State was invited to, every living one, including one that's 96 and one that's 98 years old, George Shultz. He literally is on the list. I mean, I don't think either one of these two attended. None of them did. But they were invited. But she wasn't. So why wasn't she? So why didn't Biden invite her? And I assume because there's some, and it's, I mean, it could be because of the investigation. I don't think so, though, because of the reasons I just stated. I think it's another reason. I think there's bad blood between them. I think there might be some truth to the idea that Hillary kneecapped him by way of Ukraine, and basically prevented him from getting into the primary in the first place, because of everything that basically, Trump is trying to do now, and which is sort of, slowly leading towards his impeachment, whether he's impeached or removed, whatever. I'm not here to debate that. I'm just here to tell what I think is I do believe that, it's very possible that that Hillary Clinton, to make sure that this conspiracy went to plan, because you can't work if Biden's the nominee. Okay, then it has to be Hillary, and so she kneecapped him, early on, so that he never entered the primary, by way of the dirt on him through Ukraine. What's his name? Ron Johnson, in his interview to Chuck Todd, where people, if you're on the right, defended him, and other people on the left said he was off the rails. And I like Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, the senator, and I think he's probably a good guy, and I don't think he's going along with any of this stuff. But he was basically defending the president, because I think he doesn't, I don't know. I just, I believe what I believe. I know I sound crazy, like I know more than Ron Johnson does, but I think I do. And it's silly, but he was saying that, he had this belief, or he was being told, from some of the reporting, because they don't want to say this precisely. They don't want to say that Hillary Clinton prevented Joe Biden from entering the primary, because they don't want to get too specific, okay? All right. So, but he alluded to that in that interview. And then actually Chuck Todd actually asked him, I don't know, I think it was in a way that's not the way I think, but I don't know. Chuck Todd actually asked him, do you think Paul Manafort was framed? Okay? Because I do think Paul Manafort was set up to be the fall guy of this, from the very beginning. He was the perfect candidate for that. My point is that let's just assume that really did happen, okay? That Hillary Clinton basically prevented Biden from ever entering the primary before it even became a public issue, behind the scenes in a very dirty way by Burisma, whatever, by all the corruption that's going on in the Ukraine. If that's the case, that just proves, in my opinion, proves my point that this election was fixed, okay? That if you're telling me that basically Hillary Clinton was able to use another foreign government, okay, like Ukraine. And Ukraine is not some teeny tiny little country in the middle of nowhere. It's this massive country. It's rather big when you bring it up on the map. And it's basically the doorway between Russia and Eastern Europe, you know? I mean, it sits right there, you know, on top of the Black Sea. You know, I don't know the population of it. It's got to be, I don't know, 80 million, 100 million. What's the, God damn it. Another one. Ukraine. 44 million. It's not that many, but it's big. My point is, here's Ukraine. Here's all of Russia. It's pretty big, man. It's as big as Poland and Germany. You know, it's bigger in France and so on, you know. It's not some rinky-dink little place. My point is that if Hillary Clinton was that ruthless in her pursuit of the president to kneecap the vice president of the United States to prevent him from entering the primary in the first place, you know, at the highest levels. This is the vice president under President Obama, who's got the entire federal government at his disposal. If Hillary Clinton was able to do that, let's assume she was, how in God's name would that same person with that same aptitude go on to lose every single swing state there was? It's impossible. It's impossible, you know? And that's pretty much the point I'm making here. I mean, these are just logical conclusions, you know? I mean, they don't prove anything, but they make a lot of sense, I think. I really do. And one last thing, I mean, I was looking at, you know, I mean, I have California up here. This is Obama 2012. This is his vote counts. This is Hillary 2016. And it's just the swing states that she lost to Trump. And it just shows you how badly, how poorly she did, okay, compared to Obama in 2012. I mean, she did so bad compared to Obama just in these states, just in the states where she needed to do well, in the swing states, because she won by 3 million votes, all right? And those 3 million votes, they come from somewhere. So people keep saying, you don't know how much people hated Hillary. You don't know how much people hated Hillary. Well, they only hated her in the swing states because she beat Trump by 3 million votes, which is a huge margin. It's a big margin in a presidential campaign. And those 3 million votes came from somewhere. 950 of them came from California. So she outperformed Obama in California, okay, by 950,000 votes. And if you look at the other 900,000 votes, the other 2.1 million votes came from somewhere from the rest of the country. They came from all the other states except these ones. So she outperformed Obama. You know, Obama, who's the most beloved, person in Democratic politics in modern history. You know, I mean, who shocked the world as much as Trump did. You know, legitimately, not without fixing the election, where people just loved him. Okay? But she outperformed him in New York, Oregon. You bring up states. She outperformed him by, I don't know what Obama's total tally was, actually. Damn it. You're such a turkey. All right. Obama. Romney results total. This should do it right here. Wait. That's Massachusetts. She outperformed him in Massachusetts. Outperformed Obama. By 30,000 votes. I'm just telling you that, she's right up there with Obama or better in all the other states except the swing states. Let me see if let me make sure I actually got that right. Trump, there it is right there. Thank you. That's the New York Times one, which I don't want. All right, so 101.995. And Obama was, 1.92. Okay, she outperformed Obama in Massachusetts. So everyone's saying, you don't know how much everyone hated Hillary. Everyone hated Hillary. They only hated her in the swing states, and they liked her even more than Obama in everywhere but the swing states. Okay, Obama 2016 results. Let's do that. Come on, dude. We'll just do Romney. There you go. This is going to be the total probably right here. Come on. 65 million. So Hillary got 63, I believe. You know. And they're you know, so he outperformed her, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying what I said, which is, you know, she did well everywhere except the swing states. And she did it on purpose, in my opinion. I don't like Hillary, okay? But the problem, you guys, you know, some of you, I really do think that, you know, some people are part of this on. So Hillary got 65. What did he get? He got 60. He got 65. She did the same thing. She got 100,000 votes less than Obama. Okay, so everyone's like, you don't know how much Hillary, they hate Hillary. You don't know how much people hate Hillary. She got 100,000 votes less than one of the most loved presidents in Democratic history. That Democratic Party loves him. Republicans like him. You know, I mean. So, but back to, like, you know, I don't like Hillary. Hillary is Trump. Trump is Hillary. They are the same thing, dude. And that's what I've been saying for some time. They are. Trump is Hillary. Totally. So if I could just kind of circle back to, you know, the very beginning here, this luncheon that Hillary Clinton wasn't invited to, even though every former Secretary of State, every living former Secretary of State was invited to. You know, that was hosted by Biden and John Kerry. And I think Biden was pissed, you know, and because of what I stated in the beginning of this, I think there's a distinct possibility that he was kneecapped by Hillary Clinton, you know. And I don't know what came next after this. I mean, basically after this, on the 28th of October, you had the Hunter Biden incident with his rental car, you know, where somebody drops his rental car off, I think in Arizona somewhere, and there's a crack pipe in there and a couple government IDs, his IDs, that I think he either dropped it off and had a friend call, or the friend dropped it off and the friend called, or the friend dropped it off and he called. I'm not real sure, but I don't think he called. I think the friend called. And I think this was a setup. I mean, I think this was put into place on October 28th. You know, this is a little bit more than a week before the election, November 8th, I'm pretty sure is the election. And, you know, this was just put in place because when the election happened, it was going to dawn on everybody, including Joe Biden, which he didn't. None of them knew this. Knew that Hillary was losing on purpose. That just wasn't in the cards for them. Like, they never knew, but they would know, you know, come election day. So this Hunter Biden incident, I think, was just a shot over the bow to be like, keep your mouth shut, you know, because there's a lot more. And I mean, like, and there's the incident with Jim Comey, you know, doing his press conference with the Wiener laptop, you know, where he reopened temporarily, very briefly, reopened the investigation, if you recall. And that's actually before that Hunter Biden thing, so it's not after. And he sent a letter to Congress basically notifying that he was going to, I don't know if he didn't specifically word it as reopen the investigation, but he says, I don't know what he called it, you know. I am writing to inform you that the investigative team briefed me on this yesterday. I agreed that the FBI should take appropriate investigative steps designed to allow investigators to review these emails. The FBI cannot assert whether or not this material may be significant. I cannot predict how long it will take. This is the 28th, and it's a Friday, that he sent this to congressional, you know, congressional committee heads, chairs, that he was going to so-called reopen the investigation. He ended up closing it, I think, the 6th, and concluding that it was nothing. And this, I don't think, has anything to do with, like, that Hunter Biden thing I just talked to you about. And supposedly he was tipped off about this by Andrew McCabe. You know, that's what he claimed. He remembered that's how he remembered, how he became aware of it. I think that's where it says that. Where is that? Damn it. There it is, right here. So, and this is early October 2016. Comey, in a higher loyalty, wrote that somebody at the FBI, he believes McCabe, who in my opinion, just a theory, McCabe is a Clinton person. McCabe is a Clinton person. I'll go on to prove McCabe's a Clinton person. In the next bullet point, mentioned to him that Weiner had a laptop. Might have some connection to the Clinton case. I don't remember the conversation clearly. I suspect that is because it seemed like a passing comment, and the notion that Anthony Weiner's computer might connect to mid-year, and Hillary Clinton made no sense to me, Comey said. But McCabe is the one who said this, and that's what prompted him to temporarily reopen the investigation. And then it goes on to say here that the Wall Street Journal reported that Jill McCabe, the wife of Andrew McCabe, accepted nearly $500,000 from the Political Action Committee of then Democratic Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, a Clinton family ally. McCabe is a family. McCabe is a Clinton ally for sure. Basically, this was planning, just another thing to hang their hat on for an excuse of why they lost the election. Last minute. Okay, and but in the end, what I was saying is Biden, Obama too. Okay, even though they suspected something that was up, they just they never ever was never considered that Hillary was going to lose on purpose, and they just her and Trump, in my opinion, just theory, fooled them all, and I don't think that's a good thing, by the way. I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's amazing scam, the biggest scam pulled off ever in world history, ever. So, that deserves a little bit. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So, but it's not good. It's terrible. I mean, it's terrible. It's for money. It's for money, and it's for money from the worst sources, probably the Russians, and many other bad people. But Comey here is like, this is the headline over at The Guardian when he testified. Comey, I was sure Clinton would win the election when I reopened the email inquiry. He's saying that when he did that, he thought it wouldn't have any effect because he was so sure she was going to win, just like everybody else, dude. That's what I keep saying, man. That's what I keep saying is nobody thought Trump was going to win, and he did. So they cooked up this hoax Russia thing. It just keeps going and going. It's just Trump's way of just constantly, just this chaos on top of chaos on top of chaos, where you just don't know where it begins and ends, and it's just everywhere, dude. And that is the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. I understand it's all over the place. You want to follow along? You follow along. You don't want to follow along? You don't follow along, man. No problemo. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.